Okay, hey guys, everybody, I'm OASIS on Witches of the Moon, and this week's topic is black magic. Sorry you're not seeing my face, but I didn't have time to set up everything so you could see me, and I didn't feel like holding the camera steady or attempting to hold the camera steady in my hand. But anyway, let's get into the topic. Black magic. There's actually 3 types of black magic, and I wish I had my easel pen because I have my easel board and I could have wrote on there. Dang. But there's actually 3 different types of black magic. The first type of black magic, when you go back to history, is just any magic that black people did. That would be voodoo, Ifa, anything, the Ruba traditions, voodoo, not voodoo, voodoo, Ifa, the Santerías, Palo Mayombe, anything that dates back to natural African traditions. That was considered black magic as the rise of Christianity and things like that went up. And of course the reason for this was to get more people to convert. Now, why was their black magic considered black magic? Well, obviously because they were dark skinned, and when they wanted to convert, they wanted to get the people away from their brand of magic. And other magic forms, they actually incorporated certain things into the tradition. Like, most people do not know, which is totally off subject, but just as an example, most people do not know that the Easter egg actually comes from, I believe, is Ukrainian or a Russian tradition. So they incorporated a lot of stuff. While the church does have some stuff from the voodoo traditions or other traditions, it's certain things that are just in like every tradition. Okay, so that's the first form of black magic throughout history. Now, as of course, with any religion, there's what's publicly known, and there's what's probably known, considered secret knowledge, or the Gnostic knowledge and things like that. So this is where you get the second form of black magic. And in this particular black magic, this is where you get the left-hand path, Kabbalah, Tarot, so-called Lucifer, people who worship Lucifer, which is really people who just worship Venus. And then you get the people who worship Satan or Saturn, which is really people who just worship Saturn. And this is considered the left-hand path. And then that's a different form of black magic, because that black magic is considered any magic or things that you do on yourself. It's considered putting yourself first and reflecting on yourself as opposed to worrying about others. So an example of that be, if you're having a bad day, those who truly work the left-hand path will not blame it on the surroundings or others. They'll blame it on themselves, and then they'll look at themselves and see what needs to be corrected. And they do that through the tree of life, to see where they're at on the tree of life, to see how they need to balance whatever path they found themselves on. They do this through tarot, divination. Again, the tree of life and Kabbalah goes kind of hand in hand. They do it through that, through basically looking at themselves to see what they can change. One of the main keys is that they understand all this vibration, and like attracts like. So if they have a nasty day, obviously there's something in there that was nasty that is attracting that. So that's the second form of black magic. Now, the third form of black magic is what we know as black magic today, which is considered negative magic, or magic that does harm to other people. This form of black magic really came about more so with the rise of Wicca, which, with the Wiccan creed of do no harm. So anything that was considered harm was considered black magic, and anything that doesn't do harm is considered white magic. But when you really sit there and look at it, it's a very thin line that's easily crossed between those two, so-called white and black magic. And the reason is because if I'm casting a spell to defend myself, or just a protection spell, that's considered white magic. But at the same time, in order for you to be protected, that has to do harm to somebody. So if someone comes to do something to you and you have a protection spell up, they get harmed, but they harm themselves. Well, now they easily cross into black magic, but somehow still considered white magic, because you didn't directly harm them, but you indirectly meant to harm them because you put a protection spell on yourself. So, you see how the lines cross. But those are, I'm not going to go into black magic spells. I'm not going to give out black magic spells, because I do believe that's something that should be studied, and that's something that should truly be understood, because you're messing with people's lives. It's not just as simple as, they're getting on my nerves, let me cast a spell, or let me bind them, or let me do something like that. That is not that simple when you're considering that what you're doing is going to affect the rest of their life, at least momentarily, if not if you're really good, it really gonna affect the rest of their life. And now you start messing with the lessons of life that they need to learn on their own and things like that. So it's not something that should be played with. Now, in saying the other two forms of black magic, the left hand path, and then what was originally considered black magic, which was just magic done by black people, of course there is spells that are done to harm other people in both of those paths. But just to break down the understanding, there are 3 different types of what's considered black magic, but most people nowadays look at black magic just as anything that harms other people. And it's just, I don't know, that's just a little trick. To me, that's tricky, because in all ways, in all forms, in some way we harm other people and don't know it. If you're casting a spell, which is considered white magic, to get a job, and you get that job, well, now you just took that job away from everybody else who was also applying for the job. So in other ways, you just harm them, you harm their family, you harm their finances.